Welcome back to Unleashed. This is Sheila Paylan reading Ride the Wave. In what feels like the longest January ever, Donald Trump's first week back in office as President of the United States has been a whirlwind, leaving us all in dire need of a nap. He kicked things off by pulling the United States out of the World Health Organization, bluntly rejecting collective leadership in tackling global health crises, and turning his back on the Paris Climate Agreement, distancing America from every nation in the world committed to battling global warming. But he didn't stop there. In just a few days, he also issued sweeping mass pardons for everyone charged or convicted in connection with the January 6th Capitol riot, directly contradicting early Republican assurances. He reinstated and expanded the use of the death penalty in federal cases, reversing the prior administration's moratorium on federal executions. He tried to cancel birthright citizenship, a right enshrined in the 14th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, and he suspended all foreign aid except to Israel and Egypt. There's more, but frankly, I can't take it anymore. The only potentially redeeming action was his order to declassify the last files on the assassinations of John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr. I think that's something many of us can't wait to see. Besides that, there doesn't seem to be much to get excited about. After World War II, a new world order emerged, largely crafted by the United States, which promoted capitalism, collaboration, and the rule of law. This system, disproportionately funded by the U.S., brought immense benefits, lifting billions out of poverty, rebuilding Europe, and securing a victory in the Cold War. Today, in what can only be described as a new world disorder, Trump's re-election and his latest actions mark a profound shift in U.S. policy direction, ushering in an era of governance that prioritizes ideology over evidence and division over unity. These upheavals reflect broader societal and emotional turbulences, which both stem from and contribute to personal struggles with deep-seated fears and anxieties. I remember my first encounter with a depressive bout as a teenager, a deep, unyielding sorrow that felt unlike any emotion I had previously known. I wasn't just sad, I was trapped in an engulfing slump that seemed to color every aspect of my life with an unrelenting gray. At such a young age, the intensity of the feeling was bewildering and terrifying. I was convinced something was fundamentally wrong with me. Determined to eradicate this unwelcome intruder from my psyche, but without the skills or know-how to do it, I developed what I now recognize as maladaptive coping mechanisms. It took years of battling this unseen enemy before I came to realize that there was no getting rid of it. It was part and parcel of the human experience. And I had to re-experience it many times in order to master it in healthier ways. It was something to be understood and navigated, like a surfer spotting a looming wave and learning to ride it out. Today, as we face a global existential slump marked by the rise of authoritarianism and a seeming regression in human rights, I find this lesson more relevant than ever. The shockwaves from events like the elections or dictatorships of leaders who show such pervasive disregard for democratic norms and human rights bring a global emotional undercurrent of fear, anger, depression, and helplessness. While this is reminiscent of dark personal times, it also presents an opportunity to apply lessons from those personal battles. Just as I learned to do with my own internal storms, we as a global community need to learn to ride these waves. It's not the first time humanity has faced tyranny or injustice, and it certainly won't be the last. History is replete with dark times that seemed insurmountable while they raged. Yet, human rights have always found a way to break through the surface eventually. Navigating this new world disorder requires a recognition that while we cannot control every aspect of these turbulent times, we can choose how we respond and adapt. Justice, truth, peace, and revolutionary change, though currently under siege, have historically prevailed and will continue to do so as long as we remain committed to upholding them. Human rights are fueled by the persistent efforts of those who refuse to give up, nurtured by the unwavering belief in the dignity of every human being. Justice does break through the barriers of corruption and silence, driven by the tireless work of advocates and the indomitable spirit of those who demand change. And the truth always rises, uncontainable, no matter how deep the powers that be try to bury it. As we face this new wave of global disruption, we can't let ourselves become overwhelmed. We need to draw strength from our collective past triumphs and the enduring spirit of humanity to reach calmer seas. It's not about being passive or resigned. It's about moving forward with a deeper understanding and a renewed commitment to the values we hold dear. And so, we brace ourselves, knowing the storm will pass, and ride each wave like we own it.